We in the Super Bowl. Ain't nobody ever been in this game. Game of our life. And then when the ball went over his head, we knew Peyton Manning checked every play for them to even do that. So you could just talk about the nerves that Buddy had.
When I really knew the game was over is when halftime, we in there was warming up and we was doing the electric slide.
You doing the electric slide at halftime?
Man, we was partying, man.
Our confidence, man. Our confidence.
Man, we was like, man,
our confidence.
We just knew.
Mebane, welcome in, my dog.
Yes, sir, man.
How you living, bro?
I'm doing all right, man. Just graduated from UC Berkeley, and yeah, that was a pretty interesting journey.
Yeah,
bro, back to school, man.
15 years.
Yeah, man. It was it was interesting, man. Pretty much what helped me that what they didn't have back in school, what I had in school, right, was that what I did, I tell it the story. So say if like with my philosophy class, I have like one assignment be like 15-page read, right, on a philosopher like Plato or one of those Socrates or whatever. I probably didn't pronounce his name right. Say if I had like 15 pages on one of those guys, what I do is I copy it and I let it read to me, right? And it was interesting the way I did it because those dudes, the way they talk, you be like, what is that dude saying? You just sit there trying to read it, right? You like, what? But I let the computer read it to me. And so it took me 15 pages. It took me like 2-3 hours to try to break it down. The computer just read it to me and I was done in less than 30 minutes.
Mebane, you probably don't remember this, bro, but when I was growing up, you used to teach me the power of family. Like KJ, make sure you don't get caught up in all these, these women throwing themselves at you. But tell me like the power of family, why you was playing and why that was important to you not to get caught up in all that mess.
Well, it's all that stuff is a major distraction. And I believe that if your mind is good at home, then your mind will be good at work. So I look at it like this another way too, right? So you fight at work all the time, right? With, trying to like maintain your job, trying to perform and do this, right? So you fighting at work, and if you go home fighting, then it's like, it ain't gonna be a good situation. So you don't wanna go home fighting and then you don't wanna go to work fighting because your mind is gonna be in two different places. And I was fortunate and blessed enough to, marry a woman like Amina, to where she take care of business, educated, God-fearing. And I didn't realize I didn't actually do a whole lot of house stuff until I retired because she was doing all the emails, taking care of all the bills and doing all this stuff to where I was just going to work and performing. And then when I retired, it was like, bam, like what is this? Like email, because in my generation, people will recognize this, right? I didn't send an email until I retired. I didn't have to, because if you think about it, emailing wasn't really big for me in high school. I graduated 2003. It wasn't like that. College, it was a little bit. You wasn't really emailing your professors like that. And then by the time I got in the NFL, it started taking off. And so I never sent the email until I was about 35. Yeah.
Wow.
Wait. I want to make sure we got this straight. Because if it's going to be a headline, this might go viral. Yeah. Brandon Mebane did not send an email till he was 35 years old.
Yeah.
Well, good thing you had Amina by your side.
Now,
that's why, man.
I hope
I'm a lawyer, man. So.
I hope one takeaway from this talk with you is I want the world, KJ wants the world to give Brandon Mebane his flowers now. And so I really want that to be stressed. KJ talks a lot about the influence that you had on him.
Right.
I sometimes talk about the influence that you had on me.
Right.
The person that you are, can you take us back to when you first got into the league and the lessons that you learned? Who taught you? Who did you look to? during that time. KJ looked to you. Who did Mebane look to?
All right, so when I came in to the NFL 2007, it wasn't the OTA situation wasn't like how it was now. We didn't have like rookie minicamp or just veteran minicamp. We just had OTAs, and then it was minicamp, and then we had real tour days that I did for about 6 years, right? So I had the opportunity to get a lot of reps. You know, a lot of them reps was bad, a lot of them was good. But, you know, I learned from, right? So when I got in the NFL, I was behind as far as like the knowledge of the game. Physically wise, I could play the game, right? But knowledge wise, knowing football, I didn't really actually know football until I got to Seattle. And it was to the point to where we had 3 strings. I was with the 3rd string, and I was rotating with 3 guys on the 3rd string. And so I was rotating, and I wasn't really in my playbook. I was getting reach, getting cut off. Didn't understand wide zone, short zone, all that stuff. I didn't understand none of that. But we weren't really, our team wasn't really running the wide zone. We was running the zone scheme to where, Sean Alexander, he'd go one to that B gap or that A gap, front side A gap, and then he'd cut it back, or they just run to the bubble side, right? So when I got there, I was struggling, wasn't into it. And my position coach came to me and was just, in the D coordinator, it was like, man, you're not looking good, man. It's possibly, you can get cut. And I was like, damn, I didn't understand the business at the time. I didn't know none of this stuff. I wasn't really like knowing nothing about the NFL. So they told me that, and I was like, damn, I need to take this stuff serious, right? So I got with Chuck Darby. They told me to get with Chuck Darby. And Chuck Darby.
Who is Chuck? Who is Chuck Darby?
Chuck Darby was he used to call all the rookies.
What he used to call the rookies?
He's called a piece of shit. He's called a piece of shit. And Chuck Darby was one of them dudes that he wasn't like real tall. He was by my height, but you weren't gonna try him though, right? And he'll look out for you. He was one of those dudes, man. You do your job, he'll look out for you. But he was trying to mold more guys to just be professional, right, take care of your business and stuff like that. It wasn't like no hate, none of that, right? So at the time, like I said, I was with the 3s. I was rotating with the 3s. I got, the coaches talked to me, Chuck talked to me, and, all of a sudden it just started clicking. And I just started just getting all this knowledge, getting this information, and started playing better. And so after the first preseason game, I was still with the 3s. The second preseason game, we played, I think it was Green Bay, and I just started making plays, right? So I started moving up with the 2s. Because when I was with the 3s, the guys that was in front of me was like, hey, man, how you doing, man? Pat me on the back. Hey, how you doing? Everything good? And, I was like, dang, they must like me, right? Cool. All the older guys like me. And so when I went up with the 2s, I stopped getting those pat on the backs and started, getting those frowns, like, there's showing me their teeth like they canine dogs, right? I'm like, dang, man, it's amazing what happened when you move up in the, on the depth. So I moved up on the depth, and it was 2 guys that in front of me ended up getting hurt by game 5. It was Chuck Darby and Marcus Tubbs. Both of them tore the ACL. And so they both of them tore the ACL. And after that, it was like, I found out in the newspaper that I was starting. They didn't even tell me I was starting. It was an interview Mike Holmgren did. They didn't even tell me because they knew the other guys was gonna be mad. And I was like, shit, I didn't go behind nobody back in politics. Yeah. Like, hey man, put me there, please. I beg. I ain't do none of that, right?
And this all in preseason. So I found out. This all in preseason.
No, this was when Tubbs and Darby tore the ACL. This was now during the season. I think Tubbs tore his during training camp, I believe, and Chuck tore his during the season. And I started the sixth game of my rookie year, and that first game I started, you go back and look at this, you know, people be like, "Oh no, he didn't." So the first game we played against the Rams, and the first play of the game, I made a tackle for loss. And so before all that, when I moved to ones, I went to my position coach, Dwayne Bowe, Pee Wee, and told him, man, I said, man, I need help, man. You know, I wasn't an A student. I looked in the mirror. I was like, man, I'm not an A student. I can't go to a job at that time and be like, man, I'm looking for a job. I didn't graduate from college at that time. So I was like, man, this is all I got, man. So I didn't tell him all that, but in my you know, in the mirror, I was like, man, this is all I got. So he told me to come up there every day during training camp and during the season. We did this for 2 years. He taught me how to watch film. He taught me how to take notes. We used to do like little work outside on the grass in Kirkland. We started in Kirkland, Washington. We ain't started in Renton, Washington, right? And so we used to do all that. We did all that for like 2 years, man. And then all them years, I'm just gaining so much knowledge, man. Like this is like the best teacher I ever had, man. Pee Wee called me. His real name is Dwayne. And man, he taught me all this stuff, man. And I'm like, man, he just gave me the foundation because, like I said, I never was taught how to play football. I was just going off on all instincts. Like, you know, there the ball go get it, you know. But he taught me how to get the ball and not only like, you know, go get it, but, you know, use these different just ways of getting it. And he actually changed my stands up. I started doing the tilt stands. And so that gave me an advantage because I was always undersized, height, not so much weight, but height-wise, I was undersized.
Shorter, yeah.
And so doing that tilt position, it gave me it gave me an advantage and it gave offensive lineman disadvantage. And yeah, man, we went on from there, man. It was like, it was all she wrote.
Yeah, and Mebane, and you played in two different eras. You got the old CBA and you got the new CBA. You got Coach Holmgren, you got Coach Carroll. Bro, tell me about that old CBA and like how challenging was that before they took away 2-a-days, took away all them pads? What was that life like in training camp and even in the season?
So in training camp, right? So this is before I was a starter and everything, before anybody knew who I was. So in training camp, the older guys, you know, you have to carry the helmet, shoulder pads, give me some Gatorade, you know, do all the rookie stuff you got to do. Go get me a sandwich. I remember Kearney told me to go give him an Eggs Benedict. And I was like, what the fuck? I didn't even
Shout out to Patrick Kearney. Patrick
Kearney. I didn't know what that was.
He a businessman now, financial guy.
So Kearney took the Egg Benedict. He took a bite of it and said, it's not that good. And threw it in trash. I was like, oh no, like what? And it looked good, but I was like, dang. And so all they was doing was pretty much was looking to see like how was I going to react to a certain situation? Was I going to get upset? Can I hold my composure? Like, could I be calm in certain different situations? Yeah. And and it was like that. And so it was times during training camps, let's say like you get into like the middle of the training camp or kind of like where the veteran guys, they get a little tired. So they'll tell me and a couple other rookies or the guys that didn't get drafted, right? They'll say, hey, we on the knee this time. And the position coach was like, all right. So they made us get up and rush all the offensive line from the tackle, guard, center, guard, tackle. And we had to go all the way down the line and don't look back because we ain't pulling you out. None of the veterans is going.
But physically speaking, bro, how do you even do that? Physically speaking, rush 5 plays in a row.
You 22. So it's like you got to. Like, you got it. You know, your legs is fresher than theirs. Way fresher, younger. Yeah. And it was like, you get two reps pass rush. So I take one and then some person behind me take one or he go first. But like I said, we going like all the way down the line and we pass rushing against the ones. And the one dude when the veterans got on the knee, Walter Jones, he got on the knee too. He was like, man, I ain't going to get some damn rookies. He's some other dudes up. But everybody else was starters, and you got to rush all the way down the line.
Everybody.
And it
So
was
Bang,
real, man.
Bang, you became a dog, understanding the game during that time, first CBA. And look, man, let's get to the juicy stuff. Can we just fast forward to when Pete Carrol comes? It's 2010. It's early 2010, January-ish. He gets hired. Then Now this the KJALLDAY show. Now keep it a buck. Your first impression of Pete Carrol. Tell the truth.
So I knew Pete Carrol in high school, right? So my first encounter with Pete Carrol was I was sitting on my porch, and we had a guy, Lee Webb. He was at USC at the time, and I was a junior, about to be a senior in high school. And I was sitting on the porch. He drove by and said, "Hey, Pete Carrol want to holler at you." I was like, okay. He's like, "Man, you got to get in the car. We're going to go to USC." Because I live about 5 minutes from USC or whatever. And I was like, okay, all right, let's go. And so we went, drove there. We was talking and everything. He said, "Yeah, he be talking about you a lot." I said, "All right, cool. I'm not tripping at this point. Like, whatever." So we go over there, and Ogeron and Pete is in the office, and they talking to me and everything. And I had a shirt on and a tank top. So they said, "Take your shirt off and leave your tank top on." And he said, "Do a spin move." And it was a small space. I was like, "Do a spin move right here?" I'm thinking like, what? So he said, "Do a spin move." I did the spin move. Boom. And he said, "All right, man, we're going to see you, man. We'll be talking to you later." And no lie, probably like an hour later, the FedEx truck pulled up, and it was from USC, and it was a full scholarship they offered me just on a spin move. I was like, what? Like,
And just to be clear, y'all, we talking about a football spin move. Like, just where we're talking about a football spin move.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Did you hear all that stuff I was saying?
Yeah, we heard you.
Oh yeah. So so I did the spin move, and it was
And a full scholarship an hour later.
FedEx.
Full scholarship.
Wow.
Yeah, FedEx.
So when Pete came on the scene in Seattle, y'all just coming from Holmgren, then y'all had Mora. What did y'all notice about Pete when he first came on the scene?
Ooh.
Like to an NFL team. This ain't college, it's the pros.
So at that point, I was going into my fourth year. And when he came, it was he brought a lot of college coaches, a lot of college everything with him, right? And it was just a lot of energy and going over the agiles, before practice. Yep. A lot of screaming. I'm like, what the hell I'm at? Like, what the fuck? What we doing? Because with Mike Holmgren, Jim Moore, it was just like they blow the whistle, line up and go get stretched, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes sometimes we probably didn't even stretch, right? So I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
But so when he came, it was like, dang, man. And it was so crazy and so competitive. Man, I don't know the number, but he brought in and cut so many people, man.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, woo,
Oh, yeah.
woo. Like, it was crazy.
Most transactions in NFL history. He did the most transactions in NFL history.
Man, that shit was
in that time span.
crazy. Man, it was crazy, man. It was like, man, everybody was eyes was big, you know what I'm saying? It was like, ooh, who about to get it next?
Yep.
And shoot, only like three of us survived that. And it was me, Red.
Mm-hmm.
Red was drafted in 08.
Uh-huh.
Max Unger was drafted in 09 by Jim Moore. Only three of us made it. And that was the only ones that was still on the team by the time we got to the Super Bowl. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
And man, and it was rough, man. It was a lot of like soul searching and identity.
That first year,
Man. He was chopping left and right, man. It was like, whew.
Bang, what was it like? What was it like the first time you heard music being played at practice?
Man, it was dang. Actually, like I never thought about that. That was interesting, man. Cause when he played the music, it was times to where you didn't want to practice, and you hear a song, you like, oh man, I'm getting into it, and you like, oh okay, yeah, and you forget that you was feeling bad, and you was just going. Yeah, that was interesting, real interesting.
And bro, when you look at our team, bro, we had you on the D line, Red. We had Chris Clemons. We had Sherm, Bobby, myself. A lot of personalities. Marshawn on the other side. When you look at Coach Carroll, bro, what was so good about this dude when he like brought the best out of us, when he coached us, when he managed us, and like, how much credit do you give Coach Carroll when it came to just coaching us and managing our personalities?
I think it's very interesting, man, because a lot of places that you go to or a lot of coaches you be around, they don't allow you to be who you are, right? It's kind of like they'll take a boxer, like one boxing trainer, right? And he'll have that same speech or that same training method for like Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali, right? Well, if you look at the physical part of Muhammad Ali and the physical part of Mike Tyson, you know that height-wise, arm length-wise, you can't train both those guys the same, right? It's just like physically not possible. What he does was he just got to the point to where he like wanted us to all like just battle, and when we practiced, we was all like battling, and that just got us all so much better, man. To where like when he came, I actually like upped my film watching because I wanted to like find like another edge to like I wanted to like outdo everybody in my position in the field, right? And yeah, it was just you always had to find something to like keep your job because they was chopping.
Yeah,
man.
You talk about the D line, right? And I'm one of those. I like to do metaphors to better help me understand things, right? And a lot of times the real estate deal and people go to buy homes and they get a house inspection, right? Home inspection. And so the first thing they do when they get the home inspection, the first thing they really want to check out is the foundation of the home, right? And so that's important. But I look at the defense that you and KJ and the rest were a part of, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. I think the foundation, right? The foundation is the D line of that defense. And I don't think that you guys have gotten a lot of respect and or credit. Can you talk about that?
Well, I mean, you got to look at it like this, where the people that's, writing the articles and have control over the Pro Bowls and the All Pros and that stuff, right? They don't look at the game from how we look at it, which we call look at the game defensive line. Really, all we look at is the ass end, right? So when you say the ass end, it's like the back of somebody's butt from the film. It's the other angle. It's the opposite of the TV angle, right? To where KJ, his group, they'll look at both ends. They'll look at the ass end and the TV angle, right? To where all we just look at is the ass end, right? And so a lot of people don't really understand like what we do up front. Like our plays, what we make is not as sexy as like you'll see a Cam, Earl, Bobby or KJ or anybody. All them plays they make in an open field and they like, whoa, like it's like wow, right? But the plays that we do, it's like it's hard for the average fan. It's hard for the sports writer for them to understand that. And a lot of people don't understand football is like very complex. And all those things you don't really like, you don't see what we do up front. So it's not like broadcast or it's not like made like a big deal, But it's just one of those things, like, especially my position. My position wasn't a sexy position compared to like KJ position or, anybody or to play DBs or whatever.
And just to explain to people like the beauty of good defensive linemen. I played behind defensive linemen where I'm just roaming sideline to sideline. I'm free. I can make my plays. I played behind some dudes later in my career. I'm like, damn, like dudes in my chest as soon as the ball is snapped.
Yeah.
And if a dude is in my chest when the ball is snapped, I expect my defensive lineman to make that play every single time. You got if a dude climbing up to a linebacker, defensive lineman, that's your play every single time.
Right.
If they did try to climb up to me, I knew number 92 was gonna be there for a TFL every single time.
Right.
And so that's the beauty of
everybody want to make plays, right? But it's a time and a place to make plays. You know, it's a time and a place to where, you know, you shoot the gap. It's a time and place where you just got to use your hands and, you know, put your hands on the offensive lineman and control the line of scrimmage. But you can't always jump the gap, you know, because they got something for that. If you jump the gap, they got what they call screens, whams, and draws, you know.
they don't know about a wham play. That's hard to explain.
It's pretty much it's like you can if you looking,
go ahead.
You can see it coming. If you looking, you can see it coming. Usually, what they usually to like disguise it more, they usually use a tight end. They use a tight end, and the only team that used to do that to me a lot was the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
And they used to use a tight end. They'd sneak the tight end right behind the line of scrimmage. He'd be like right on the butt of the offensive tackle or the guard. And right when they say hike, the center go left, the guard go right, you know, opposite of each other. And you think you right up field, you got a clear path, and that dude come right out of the way. Boom.
Yep.
And he trying to clean
and hit it
clock.
tight. It's a tight play.
So I'm glad we're here now because KJ gave you some love recently, right? He gave me some love. They asked him his top 5 on defense. And Mebane, you were a part of that. I think Sherm was a part of that. Earl was a part of that. Bobby Wagner was a part of that. And Cam was a part of that. I think off the cuff, I can do that.
That's it.
Yeah.
I would like to just take this time to, can we get your 5, Bane? Can I get a 5? Are you KJ? Are you solidified on that 5?
I'm sticking with mine.
Sticking with that 5?
I'm sticking with mine.
I can definitely just go down the line and say, I think all those guys were special, man. I think every last guy on that defense was special. I think we all were, we came out of college and nobody really respected us. So we all was looking for like respect, and we all wanted to be like better than we were originally. But I think one guy on there, it's a lot of guys I could say, Red playing in that 4B. When Red played in that 4B, I don't think people understand how many single teams that I got, right? When Red played in the 4B, Red was such a big body to where Red, a lot of times they doubled Red, and I got singled. And when Red got doubled, I used to take advantage of them singles. I'm like, you for sure can't cut me off. I don't care how good you are as a center. And when that happened, it was over. When Mike Bennett was right there, now it was a little different. Mike Bennett, his movement, his football IQ was different. Red was very IQ smart too. But Mike Bennett will line up in like a 5 technique and slide down. And then, Mike Bennett will slide right in your gap and be lined up right next to you and jump your gap and make the play. Yeah. But Mike Bennett, his movement kind of made people confused, right? And it was very different when he lined up there. So people was like, oh my God, I don't know what he gonna do. Cliff Averill, man, the things that he did on that outside, it was amazing, man. The way he did his rush moves, it was amazing. Like woo. Big T-Mac, man. T-Mac was probably like the meanest, quietest dude on the planet. I seen T-Mac. He took a dude had his helmet on. He said something to T-Mac. T-Mac took his hand and ripped the face mask off the dude's helmet. So the helmet was still on the dude's head.
Stop it. Stop it.
Oh, he was mutant. And then there was another time where T-Mac, a dude hit T-Mac in the back. T-Mac turned around, hit him with one hand. Dude tore his shoulder. IR for the rest of the year. Like a mutant, man. I'm telling you, it was some mutants. And then the strongest dude probably on our D line was Clint McDonald.
Truck driver.
Truck driver.
Yep.
Truck was strong, man. Truck looked like a dad at 22 years old. He
He did.
kids. He looked like he drove a truck and he lifted weights and did sit-ups all day and night, man. Super strong, super smart, man.
I gotta. And then we can have this conversation all day long, but you know whose name don't hardly come up? And me,
I'm about to tell him right now.
Go ahead and tell him
right now.
Yeah,
Chris Clemons. A lot of people don't understand how special that dude was, dude. That dude was so smart. Chris Clemons is one of 3 dudes in Seahawks franchise history to have 30 sacks in 3 years. And Clem, I got a story about Clem too. Clem used to rush and talk so much trash, right? And he'd be like, damn, bro, what's wrong with him, man? But Clem wasn't drafted, and Clem was trying to show everybody that he belonged.
Yep.
And Clem never got the recognition that he should have got. Clem should have got a ton of recognition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And
bro,
I got the story to tell you. Let me tell you this story.
Go ahead.
So Clem used to he used to make his plays. He'd come to the sideline, and sometimes I remember one time me and Red had a sack, quarterback hitting everything. And he came, looked at us, and was like, man, I ain't gonna let y'all MFs outdo me. And Clem went in there, got a sack, tackle for loss, and all that. And that drove him. And then he used to come if he had a real good game, he used to come to the sideline and say, I'm David Ruffin. And these are Temptations. So he used to call us the Temptation and himself David Ruffin. So funny, man. Yeah.
Bro, Clem was one of the first dudes to inspire me. So we get our check every other Friday. Bro, Clem came up to me. No, it was inspiring. Clem came to me man, how much your check?
He was
how much your check? Yeah.
You want to know how much your check was?
How much your check? I showed him my check. This man showed me his check. I'm as a young rookie. I said, oh my God.
Yeah.
Bro, this dude, I thought I was making some money. Clem showed me his check. I was like, okay, I got some work to do.
Clem
It was a combination of stunning on me. And it's young fella, you got some work to do.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So it sounds like that's what Pete Carrol did. It sounds like a combination of a couple things. Number one, he brought in some guys, drafted guys who they knew they coming in, they're gonna have a chip on their shoulder and they're gonna try to show the world that they need to respect them. That's number one.
Right.
And number two, he did a real good job of pairing and putting up on the screen Brandon Mebane versus Max Unger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, because I heard them was battles, Mebane, Max Unger,
some battles,
and Brandon Mebane.
It was some battles, man. We made each other better, man. That's a fact, man. That was a fact. Yeah, it was some battles, man. Yeah.
One of the first things that I thought we started getting away from as a team was when we traded Max. We traded Max. Love Jimmy, but that's when we really started to see the shift of the Seahawks organization. You let Max Unger go. This one calling all the plays, setting the protection. He right in the core of everything, always there.
Right.
And when Max left, that's when you saw the team, our identity is starting to shift a little bit.
You know how many starting centers there have been since Max been gone?
20.
No, being serious, 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Different starting centers, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, folks, fans, and people in the media, like we've been talking about, maybe don't really have an understanding about what a center does, and we really, Mebane, don't have an understanding about what a nose tackle does.
Mm-hmm. Right.
KJ talks highly of you, Bobby Wagner talks highly of you, but I don't think that Mebane got the love because I think there is lack of understanding of what the nose tackle does in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, it's the most physical position on defense. That position right there gets more double teams than any position on the defensive line. For one, you got to understand this: if you're getting off the ball the way I got off the ball, if you're playing the way I'm playing, if you look at it from the dynamics from who's the closest to the quarterback, I'm the closest to the quarterback. If the center can't block me, then you get a double. But if I was able to get one-on-ones in pass rush, I would have had more sacks than any of them dudes, any of them.
Yeah.
Because I'm right there at the quarterback, or I'd have had more quarterback pressures. But yeah, when you get off the ball and you playing, and you just out there trying to battle, it's just that's what it is. That's just come with it. But those things right there, what people don't understand, those are not stats. Like how many times a person got doubled, or how many, like even sometimes quarterback pressures, they don't even like really give you your pressures, right? And then where I didn't get my recognition right was they started comparing nose tackles to three techniques, and those two different positions.
Night and day.
Can't really do that. You can't really do that, like, because I would never, like stat wise, I would never have better numbers than a three technique. A three technique will always have better numbers than the best nose in the league. Whoever's the best nose, if he had a year, like if the best nose in the league had like, let's say six or seven sacks, right, in 1 year, I guarantee you that next year he won't have that many sacks, and he can have this whole same setup and everything. The reason why he won't have those same 7 sacks is because they're gonna block him different this year. He's not getting off. If he get off, if your nose tackle is controlling the line of scrimmage and getting off, the game is over. I don't care who look like good in the back. It's over, man. It's over, because the nose tackle, he'll make it have an effect on the center, and if the center can't snap the ball, it's just bad. It's horrible. It's a bad day. And there was some times where there was some centers they messed up the snap.
There was a reason for that.
Man.
Yeah,
there's a reason. Yeah. So I mean, that's a
and Mebane, this is our 10-year anniversary.
Right.
This is our 10-year anniversary since we won our first Super Bowl, the only one in franchise history, and we played on arguably the best defense in the NFL. But one thing you used to say to me is like, bro, them dudes over there, them dudes scared of us. Them dudes scared of us, bro. What was it about us that put fear into the other opponents?
I think, for one, when we used to play that Rick Ross, they can't hold us back. We all be dancing. Whole defense be dancing, our sideline dance. And I think what gave us another advantage too was the crowd was loud. 12th man is very loud, or 12th fan. It was very loud, and when we take advantage of that, right, it shrinks the offensive playbook, and it shrinks their communication. So once we figure out and we know exactly what they're about to do, it was over, man. It was over. It wasn't too much you can do to us or do on us. We only ran about 3 or 4 plays, and when we ran those plays, we was all trying to hunt and get it. And then as us, we all thought we was gangsters. Straight up. We thought we was just the baddest. We thought we was the baddest dudes on the planet. Like everybody in their position had egos to where we thought we was just it. Like, come on, we coming.
Bro, what was that Bro, what did that come from with our team? Did it come from one individual and it spread? Did it come from the coaches? Like, what was it that put us into that mentality of like, man, you dudes are the baddest dude on this football field?
I think the way we practice, I think how we battled, the way we practice. I remember when we played the Ravens, was it 20? Was you there? When Marshawn
that was
a little shake.
That was 2011. That's my rookie year. Yep.
Man,
2011.
I remember. So Corey Redden was originally on our team in 2009, and he was over with the Ravens, right? And so after the game, he came to me and was like, man, and they had a good running back, Ray Rice, right? And after the game, if you look at the stats, they only ran the ball, I want to say either 2 or 3 times that whole game. And they was like, had a good run game. And they just stopped running on us. They was just like, nah, they gave up. The offensive coordinator just gave up, and we was just building that mentality. You know, ever since then, we was building that mentality, and they was just like, nah, and I don't know what it was, man, but I think it started with practice, the stuff was put on the field. Yeah.
And our confidence, you could see our confidence. Like when we walked on the football field, we just knew like, y'all not about to mess with us today.
No.
When we came out that tunnel, like it's a wrap.
It was, and then they'll do defensive intro. If they did defensive intros, I know they had to be over there like, oh man, he playing. Like if like KJ was questionable, you know, they're like, oh man, he playing. Like, you know, dude, I'm telling you, man, and then that stuff was, I'm telling you, when we started dancing, oh man, it was like, I seen one dude, no lie, we playing against the Vikings, I forgot his name. They put the song on and we all started dancing. You know, had our little dances. The offensive lineman turned around and his eyes got so big. He was like, what? I ain't never seen nothing like this. And I was like, ooh, man. I didn't realize how special it was until like I left, you know. I was like, dang, man, like I actually missed that, man. But you know, we did it.
Wait. Yeah, because a lot of guys leave here, right? You know, some you know not on their own reasons, but they talk about that right there. Like you talk about missing that. What are you missing?
Right
when you're gone, explain what you're missing.
Well, you know, we was close, man. And like, we built that, like, you know, me and Red was there on the defense before anybody, right? Mm-hmm. It was me and Red. Well, me and then Red came. I came 07, Red came 08. And so me and Red was like real, we still close. But we was like real close to where like, I remember seeing Red in a bowl game. We played Texas A&M in a bowl game. We used to mingle with Texas A&M. We was mingling with them in the Holiday Bowl. Seen them, didn't talk to them. And I remember they put the rookies of that year, they put them in a hotel because we was moving from Kirkland to Renton, the football facility. And I wasn't really close with a lot of my class. But Red came and was like, hey, Mebane, man, you got any more room at your house? He was like, man, I don't like staying at this hotel. I was like, shoot, man, come on, man. I had a 3-bedroom house. Yeah. And so at that, man, me and Reggie, we was just bonding. And me and him, like, just growing up school-wise, we was just alike. We had so much in common. And it was just like, it was just meant to be. And so we just started just bonding, man. And then as, you know, KJ and all the DBs, the LOBs they call, you know, they all start coming. They all start to see how close we was. And then as we became like real close, you know, right? Real close. We would just hold each other accountable on and off the field, you know? And that right there was like so special to where we was, you know, kind of like not the same age, but you know, me and Red the same age, and we just was like, you know, I knew his family, he knew my family. You know, he my godfather, my kids, I'm a godfather of his kids. It's real. And the accountability, man, with how we used to hang on and off the field, that right there, like, took it to a whole nother level to where it was like, man, I got to do this. I don't feel like doing it today, but I got to do it, man, because my dog depended on me. And he felt the same way, you know, and it was just like, man, let's go do it, man. Let's go, man. You know, if you wasn't feeling good, it'd pull you up, you know.
So you talking about the brotherhood we had? We had a tight knit brotherhood.
Man, it was so special, so
everybody
deep,
was
man.
connected.
Man, dude, and like talent, like when I remember when I said this with the Chargers, people thought, you know, it was offensive, but talent wise, if you look at where we was with the Chargers, you know, we didn't stay healthy long enough to actually do anything. But Chargers, man, it was 4 first-rounders on defense and 5 second-rounders. And talent-wise, draft-wise, if you look at our defense and that defense, draft-wise, Chargers should have been, should have been better. But just different things we ran into, injuries and just different things. It just never clicked. But yeah, in Seattle, man, we clicked, man, and we all was trying to show people, like, you should have drafted me in the first round. You skipped over me, and we was all trying to just prove, like, man, I'm the best, and I think people believed it too, though.
So guys, how do you duplicate that? Like, you left to the Chargers, you went to the Raiders for a year. Coaches, assistant coaches, they leave and go and be head coaches when they leave Pete Carrol. KJ, how do you duplicate what you guys had?
That can't be duplicated. I don't think it can.
Wow.
No. We're talking once in a generation type team, type defense. Like, I don't know if it's luck, I don't know if it's just great scouting, but for 4 to 5 years, we was the best on the planet. Yeah. Like, we're talking about to ever do it, we was the best on the planet. And we had OGs like Mebane that was in a different era that we could learn from. Then we had up and young coming dudes, hungry, got a chip on their shoulder, mad. We had phenomenal coaching. Like, it was just a perfect blend of everything. OGs, young guys, perfect coaching. Like, the scheme, it was easy. And so that's gonna be hard to do. We're talking about 85 Bears, 2000 Ravens, 2013 Legion of Boom. It's gonna be some time before we see something like this ever again.
Yeah, and another thing too, like what you said, KJ, we wasn't just good just 1 year. We was good for like 4 or 5 years. You know, we led the NFL in scoring defense for 4 or 5 years.
4 years in a row.
Yeah, 4 years in a row, and that's never been done in NFL history. So I mean, I'm not a numbers guy, but team wise, you have to look at numbers. But that right there, we should be the best defense ever in the history of the NFL.
And me, bang, sticking with this 10-year reunion thing, was there like a moment in 2013? Was it when we played the Niners, when we lost? Was there a moment like, man, we a really good defense and we about to go to this Super Bowl and we about to win it all?
Man, nah, it wasn't really like a moment to where I was, you definitely want to stay humble because you don't really know until like it's over. But we were so wired. I remember after the Super Bowl game, we was ready to play a whole nother game after that. We was like, man, who we got next? Like, what's up?
What's next?
I think one of the regrets that I have, like when I was, when we was like rolling like that, I wish I would have celebrated guys on our defense more. Like when they made plays, man, I wish I'd have went to them. I went to them probably like later, but I wish I'd have went to him and be like, man, thanks for making that play, man. Because like one dude just knocking the ball down, man, I'm able to go to the sideline and get some oxygen, Yeah. And just being able to like tell all those dudes, man, like, man, what you did, man, I appreciate it, man. Like I feel like I did, but I feel like looking back at him where I'm like, dang, man, I wish I would appreciate him even like more on like another level, Like that was just, like you said, it was rare. And I kind of felt we was all young. We thought it was going to keep happening. And unfortunately it doesn't. It ends. Yeah. But we did it though. We can always say we did it and we was the best to do it. Yeah.
I just want to go back to the first play of the game, which is my favorite play of the game in that Super Bowl. I just want to get from your perspective. Now, I know what I was thinking the first play. I've never asked the two of you, what is going through your mind when that first play happens? Bang. What's going through your mind?
Well, I'm on the sideline because we started in nickel. So I'm on the sideline watching. So being Big Red, we on the sideline.
Are you mad? Are you mad?
No, I wasn't mad because the whole week, like I knew what it was.
The game plan,
I was
the game
tripping.
plan.
It's a game plan. It's just what it was, right? I mean, we helped. We didn't feel like we wasn't a part of the Super Bowl, but it was just like we just played a team that liked to pass the ball a ton, right? And so when that play happened, I was like, dang, man, like, did that really just happen? Like the ball went that high, and it was just. I think that was like the momentum. It just shifted, man, and it was just so crazy. When I really knew the game was over is when halftime, we in there, you know, how it's 40 minutes to, you know, because they got the performance outside. Man, they in there, we in there was warming up, and we was doing the electric slide, warming up. Remember that, KJ? We was all doing like the electric slide. I don't know if everybody was doing it. I know I was doing it because I was like, shit.
You doing the electric slide? Wait, whoa.
Man, we was partying, man.
Wait. You doing the electric slide at halftime?
Man, we was partying, man.
Our confidence, man. Our confidence.
Man, we was like, man,
our confidence.
We just knew. We knew we'd been, because our toughest playoff game was obviously Frisco. They knew us and we knew them. We was mirror images of each other. It was exact. Yep. We looked just alike, right?
Yeah.
And we just knew, man. It was just like, and then and Percy, he took it to the house.
We knew at halftime Percy was gonna score.
Yeah.
Whoa, you did?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Because Percy didn't play all year. Percy was hurt all year.
He was fresh.
Yep.
And when Percy get the ball, Percy on them dudes, it was just like, pew! Yeah. It was kind of like
y'all knew he was gonna score though?
Yeah, man. Because dude, Percy was on a level like this, right? I remember we used to play against when Devin Hester was in Chicago, right? Our special team coach was like, man, we gonna kick the ball to him. And I'm like, Devin Hester, one of them dudes, you don't kick the ball to him, right? Devin Hester would get the ball and he'll go from point A to point B. Like, bro, there's no way a dude is moving like that, bro. Yeah. Like, he used to get the ball and was like, pew! Like, bro, this don't look real, bro. It's like, don't kick him the ball, bro. Like, no, we don't want that. And Percy was like on that level. Had Percy stayed healthy, Percy was like that. Percy get the ball and it was like a creative player, just gone. Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you and so Mebane, for me to answer your question, for me, we just talk about the build up before.
Okay.
Like we in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody ever been in this game of our life.
Right.
And then when the ball went over his head, we knew Peyton Manning checked every play. For them to even do that, Peyton Manning checks every single play.
Yeah.
So you could just talk about the nerves that Buddy had, because you know he gonna come to the line of scrimmage, say something, dummy count, Omaha, something, and then he snapped the ball over his head. We like, okay,
man.
we should have this one.
Did that help with your confidence of the game?
Nah, it just showed like on their side they not in sync enough to where you snap the ball the first play. You've been practicing your first 15 all week for the past 2 weeks. You know what your first play gonna be before you step on the football field. For him to even do that just show like, okay, they ain't quite prepared as we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we only had 2 plays that game on defense.
Phoenix.
And stick 33.
Yeah.
And we didn't really run stick 33 a lot, but we ran Phoenix pretty much the whole game.
Yep.
That was it. We only had 2 plays that game.
You only had 2 plays?
Yeah, because we couldn't blitz. We didn't blitz a lot.
Nope. We had Phoenix, stick 33, and we had Robber. That was our man-to-man one.
Yeah,
that was our third down call.
Yeah. See, I wasn't a part of that Robber.
That's on the
that's something else behind.
That's on the back end.
Robber. I don't know what that is. Yeah. It was special, man.
Well, Mebane, look, over the years, I've been blessed to learn a lot of football from you personally, right? Like, you've been my go-to for many years. But this is an opportunity for people listening to really get to know just how much you know this game. So I'm going to do something a little different.
Right.
I'm going to ask you to explain the game of a few guys. Fair? Mm-hmm. Let's start off. Explain KJ Wright in his game.
KJ, man. KJ, we call KJ Spider, right?
Okay.
KJ is one of those linebackers, right? Where one of the reasons why we call him Spider is he was so tall, right? And had long arms to where he would make a tackle and you'd be like, damn, how you make that tackle? And it's like he had remember that toy Stretch Armstrong?
Yeah.
Like his arms get longer and he'll just reach out and be like, oh, he ain't make that tackle, and he'll make the tackle. I'm like, what? And what I enjoyed about KJ, right? KJ was one of those guys that he always was coming for information, right? He always was coming for knowledge. He was around us, man. And that right there helped KJ play, 12 years in the NFL?
11.
11? I mean, that's a long time, man. You went, fifth round?
Fourth round. Pick number 99.
See, and it's not a lot of guys that play in the fourth round that play that long, right?
Yeah.
And what set KJ apart from the others is KJ is the knowledge, man, is that wisdom, right? I asked God, man, when I was a youngster in the NFL, I asked him, man, I want wisdom. And that's all I wanted. I didn't ask for a lot of money. I didn't ask for nothing. I said, man, I want wisdom. I said, God, please bless me with wisdom. And KJ probably did that same prayer, and that helped KJ play as long as he played, you know. I remember it was a lot of things that stuck with me, man. I remember like TJ, right? TJ Husmanzada. I remember me and Red were about to leave the facility, and TJ was like, man, where the hell y'all going, right? I'm like, shit, man, we about to go, go chill. TJ said, man, y'all want to prolong y'all career? And we was like open ears, like, yeah, like what we got to do? He said, hey, man, after every practice, do something to your body, whether it's stretching, massaging, something. He said, why go home, rush home to go sit on the couch? And me and Red looked at each other, was like, damn, that do make sense. That's really what we about to go do. So we went back in the locker room and got in the hot tub and, watch film. And man. But I'm telling you, man, KJ, a lot of the stuff that I learned from my older dudes, we gave it to KJ, and KJ ended up playing
the same thing.
Years.
Okay, so we can get some few players in. We're gonna wrap it in 30 seconds. So we did KJ, Richard Sherman.
Richard Sherman was very smart. See, a lot of people don't know what Richard Sherman is. Richard Sherman was a receiver in college, right? So Richard Sherman understood routes. Richard Sherman, and not only he understood routes, but he understood the game. And he could, I bet Richard Sherman probably could look at a guy splits and tell what route he was about to run before he even ran it. And because if you think about it, Sherman wasn't the best athlete on the defense. He wasn't the most gifted athlete. I think probably the best athlete on our team, on our defense, probably was just like natural athlete was probably Bruce. And you probably say Red, because Red could take a basketball and 360 dunk. A lot of us could dunk. I could dunk too, right? But Sherm was so smart. He communicated so well. He was a competitor, and I mean, yeah, when you know what play is coming, it's like, man, that's a super advantage. And then you on the same page as your safety, your linebackers, like you all trust each other, and that's a big key, man. I think what made us all special, we trusted each other on the field, to like try to be the best. Sherm was smartest.
How special was Cam?
Secondary.
How special was Cam?
Cam was so special, right? They didn't know if Cam was a linebacker or a safety, right? So if you look at our defense, Cam is the unblocked player in our defense. If you double me, then Cam is unblocked. So when Cam come and he looking to come hit you, they usually don't see Cam. They don't know where he's at. So when Cam used to come and lay them dudes out, a lot of times they didn't know where he was, but they knew he was out over there. And Cam, people were scared of Cam. Cam was intimidating. Cam was like 6'4". He's intimidating, smart, another smart dude, super smart, man. And Cam was one of those dudes, man. He like KJ was saying, Cam actually he held, especially secondary, he held them together. Like, hey man, let's get this shit right. Let's get it right. Let's get it going. And just special, man. Make special plays. He used to jump over the offense and block field goals, man. And yeah, man.
How about Earl?
Man.
How about Earl?
Man, Earl, like you said, Earl used to zone out. Earl didn't say nothing to nobody. Earl wanted to make every play on defense. Earl was super special, man. What made Earl so special is Earl can travel from sideline to sideline like he was running the 100 meters. So special, man. And Earl didn't say nothing. Earl just wanted to battle. Earl went to show. Earl went the highest. Earl was the highest draft pick on our defense. Earl always wanted to battle, and he didn't care about that. You would thought Earl was the last pick of the 7th round, the way he played. Like, because it was a lot of first rounders that came in, that I've been around, that they didn't have that same drive. Earl wanted to just be. Earl wanted to be like Mike, man. You know what I'm saying? Earl wanted to be great, man. For real.
Yeah, Mebane, I want to, when you watch a lot of us out of our era, a lot of dude had some unhappy departures.
Right.
A lot of dudes is mad, upset, contracts, cut, release. Right. How would you describe your departure when you left Seattle?
I was upset. I definitely wanted to stay there longer, but yeah, man, when somebody else offer you more, when it comes to that finances, you gotta make the best decision. And I don't think looking back at it now and looking back at it then, I don't think I made a bad decision. For one, I look at it like this: I was on grass. I was able to play on grass, and that saved my knees to play 13 years. Right?
Yeah.
I actually thought the Chargers owner, the Spanos, is like some of the best people you can be around. So I had an incident. Well, it wasn't an incident. It was a situation where my family, my wife, my daughter, and my son, they moved to Nebraska because our daughter that passed away, McKenna, she had a heart issue with trisomy 13, right? And so it's not too many places in the country to where they do that type of heart surgery, right? So that was one of the places. I think it was Minnesota and Nebraska. It's only like a couple doctors. It's probably more now that does it. So it was like an emergency to where my wife, she needed me at the hospital, right? So it was no more flights available, and we was in Irvine, Orange County at this time. We moved from San Diego. This was 2018. And so the Spanos heard that, the situation happened. They checked the flights, and they told me, they said, man, just go to the private airport. And they gave me their private plane, and they let me use their plane to fly to Nebraska. The Spanos
That's
did,
love.
man. And
That's
I was
love.
like, man, dude, I wrote him a letter and told him, man, I appreciate that, man. That was so major, man, because I feel like a lot of people wouldn't have did that. A lot of people that could do that, they wouldn't have did that. So they gave me the private plane. You talking, that's at least probably it's a lot of money. I don't know the number, but it was, I just jumped on the plane and just went. I was on there by myself. It was a 12-passenger plane, and it was special, man.
Nice,
good people.
nice.
But I think before that even happened, I always thought they was special. They like communicate with you, ask how you was doing. I think they're very genuine. People at the Chargers organization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And would you say with your retirement and your transition out of the league, how's that been for you? Has it been that identity piece where you looking at yourself like, man, who am I? Or was it smooth transition? Like what's like these last 3 years been for you? Been like for you?
So when I first retired, right, it was during the pandemic, and it was to the point where it was like, well, football's over. I'm not gonna even watch it no more, right? And so I had a conversation, I think either on phone or text, and I was asking dudes that retired, like, man, how what you doing? We deal with it. And I told him, I told Deion Branch, I call him Dirty. I was like, Dirty, man, you still watch football? He's like, yeah, man. I was like, man, I stopped watching. He was like, nah, bro, don't do that to yourself, bro. You've been playing this long. Watch it. And so I was like, dang, I thought I'd lost, my knowledge of it, and actually I didn't. And that part right there was real interesting. I put on a little weight after that. And I was trying to figure out how to take the weight off. Got on Weight Watchers. That helped a whole lot, because the way you eat when you playing, you don't realize you can't eat like that when you're not playing. And I think the hardest part for me was the school part transition, because I wasn't a popular player. I wasn't one of those guys that you'll see on a magazine, or you go out, people like, oh man, let me take a picture. I wasn't popular like that. people didn't know who I was. You know, they was like, "Oh, okay, you look familiar." This one lady thought I was Leonard Fournette. I was like, "Dang, I got a bald head and a beard, and I'm black." I'm like, "You like Leonard Fournette? You play with the Bucks?" I was like, I should have rolled along with it. I'm like, "Yeah, that's me."
Well, big dog, we'll let you get out of here, man. We appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you, Bang.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, man.
Yes, sir.